25, 40, run, William, run! He's got blockers in front, 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs! Snap back, ball down, kick block! They block the kick!
This is the Oranges, Orange or Browns podcast from the Press Play Podcast Network. I am your host, Chase Smith, and with me, as always, Browns insider Jeremy Powell. Jeremy, 8-3, baby. What's going on, man?
8-3. It's real. We are in the hunt. It's going to be December, and we are still relevant, baby.
Unbelievable. And also with us, as she is all season long, she's your favorite and our favorite Emmy-nominated digital content producer at News Channel 5, Cameron Justice. Cameron, can we start calling these Victory Monday Cameron style? Like, is this going to be like, can you, like, we need some type of branding for you.
Yeah, we got to figure this out because I mean, I do it big every single week. I got another one tomorrow. What am I going to do with myself? I'm so excited.
Well, we are excited as well to get things started with 5 hot minutes with Jeremy Powell. Jeremy, go.
Yo, so I got to get into this, okay? Because I don't think people fully understand how special our running game is as a whole, and how special Nick Chubb is in that running game. So today, just out of curiosity, I pulled up every game that Nick Chubb has played in this year, which is 7 games. In those 7 games, the Browns are averaging 199 yards rushing, okay? If you extrapolate that out over a full season, it's about 3,200 yards. Guess what, Chase? 3,200 yards rushing would be the second best season in NFL history. That's how good this running game is. The Browns at 199 a game would be 40 yards better than the second best team running the ball. As it is, we're only 1 yard behind the Ravens anyway for the league lead in running. It's incredible. Nick Chubb is a special, special talent, as we talk about all the time. Kareem Hunt is one of the best running backs in the league, but it's not just them. It's the offensive line. You could not do this without an offensive line that is that good, and a mastermind, Kevin Stefanski, calling the plays and developing this offense. It's really incredible to watch. It's fun to watch. Takes us to Baker Mayfield. Look, Baker Mayfield's getting a lot of heat still, even today. We've seen the last 2 weeks him miss some wide open passes. But let's say this: Baker Mayfield hasn't thrown a pick in a month. Baker Mayfield has 17 touchdowns, 7 picks, and 92 quarterback rating. That's good enough to win this league. Baker Mayfield has settled into the fact that he is managing one of the best running games in the history of the NFL. That's right. You can say that. By the numbers, you can say that when Nick Chubb plays, the Cleveland Browns are one of the best running football teams in the history of the NFL. Let that sink in. 30 years ago, all the teams did was run. That's how good this Browns team is. And it doesn't just happen because of Nick Chubb. It doesn't just happen because of Kareem Hunt. It doesn't just happen because of excellent coaching. It doesn't just happen because of excellent scheme. It's all these things put together. It's an offensive line that was built by Andrew Berry to perfection in the offseason. Look, a lot of us didn't want Jared Wells Jr. A lot of us thought it was a bad pick. It's fit right in. Giving Jack Conklin all that money. Wyatt Teller winning the right guard spot. Everything has came together in a beautiful, beautiful symphony of football, and it's beautiful. And I don't think that people fully understand how great this is. Look, today was, people say, an ugly win. It was a win. It was a game in the past the Browns lose. As a matter of fact, I can prove it, because the year when we looked like we were going to make a playoff run, we had Peyton Hillis, the offense role, and we went down to Jacksonville against a 2-win Jacksonville team, and we lost that game. We lost that game. Why? Because Colt turned the ball 5 times. Baker Mayfield did what a competent, intelligent NFL quarterback had to do today to win this game, which was not turn the ball over, make a couple plays, and guide this offense with a world-class running game to victory. Yes, the defense was bad. The defense was bad. When you take the 2 best players, not just the 2 best defensive players on the team now, but the 2 best defensive players we've had on the team in the last 20 years out of the equation, yeah, the defense is going to look bad. That's just what it is. Okay, we can talk about next man up all we want, but there is no next man up behind Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett. Those are world elite talents, the best in the world at what they do. But guess what? The Browns did enough to walk out of there 8-3. That's all that matters on this moment, and it's on to Tennessee.
It was something special to see Nick Chubb continue to run. I don't think that there's any part of our offense that's holding anyone back. I don't think Baker holds this team back. I definitely don't think Chubb or any of the O-line. And the team's too good to let Njoku hold him back like he did a couple times last year. Always got to get an Njoku jab in there. But listen, some of those throws that Baker threw 3rd and long, they were incredible. Like the
Beautiful.
windows.
Tight windows, right. Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
let me say this too, Chase. After the game, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Dan Lobby, but someone asked Kevin Stefanski about that. He didn't have a good answer, but they're like, how can Baker miss Higgins so wide open in the end zone, yet throw all these beautiful tight window throws on third down? I think it's a consistency. It's a footwork thing. If you remember before the season, Kevin Stefanski said the number one thing Baker needed to fix was his footwork. But we didn't get to have a normal camp, right? Everything was a little bit different. So maybe next year they work on that. But right now, Baker has settled into his role. Like I said, he has not thrown a pick in a month. Yeah, he's only thrown a couple touchdown passes in there, but we're 3-1 in those games. He's doing what he has to do to win. His ego's not too big to realize that this is, like I said, one of the best running teams. And it's not even hyperbole to say it. At this moment, it's one of the best teams running the football in the history of the NFL. Cameron, Baker has decided to has let that, that his ego aside and driving this ship.
Yeah, Cameron, I'm not worried about Baker missing those short throws, those wide open throws. Are you worried about Baker missing those throws?
I mean, worried is a bit of an overstatement, I think. I mean, they are definitely things that you have to look at, and it's fair to look at why is this happening. I mean, that pass had an 86% chance of being completed. So you have to wonder what's going on there. But at the same time,
was that the Higgins in the end zone or the Hunt for the first down?
Higgins in the end zone, 86% chance, which you would have felt like it was even higher than that.
Yeah, it was.
But the problem, like Jeremy said, the problem is his footwork and reading post snap. And we've talked about this before. And this is something that he's got to work on. It's not something that's fixed overnight. It's something that the team will continue to grow with him. And he's made strides and you can see his growth. But I think it's okay to criticize and ask why this is happening, because that's the step to get to the improvement. You have to ask yourself what is going on. How it's what do I need to fix? And then you figure out how you fix it. So I think, yeah, that footwork is definitely a key. Getting him more attuned to, not just going with his first read. I'll have to go back and look at it, but it looked like he might have been really eyeing Harrison Bryant on that pass. And then this pass to Higgins in the end zone. It looked like Harrison Bryant might have been his first look. And then Joe Schobert blew his coverage. And so left Higgins wide open. Shout out Joe Schobert for that one. Could have been great for the Browns if he would have capitalized. But I think his first read was Bryant. And then it looked like he had to, adjust. And in that adjustment, it just didn't click. And he had an inaccurate throw. So I think that's something that he'll have to work on. And that's what you'll see throughout the rest of this season. And when there's a normal camp, hopefully at the start of next season, you'll start to see these things improve. But worried, yes, you should be a little worried, but you shouldn't be, giving up on Baker. I think it's a concern that you should call out and hope that they correct as they move forward.
Look, let me say this, Cameron, real quick. Sorry, Chase.
No, you're good. You're good.
The problem on that play was his footwork. I don't know if you saw, a couple people have already, broke it down a little bit. He was completely flat-footed when he tried to swing. If he would have just adjusted his feet and, led to where he was throwing, he probably makes that play. So I think it still comes down to his footwork. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It should have been completed. Look, the numbers say it should have completed. All our eyeballs say it should have been completed. But it's one play. He had one last week too. I understand that. But guess what? He come back and he made plays, them great throws on third down. And it just seems like he's fitting into this Kirk Cousin-esque role in Kevin Stefanski's offense really well.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get from Baker Mayfield. That's exactly what, and that's what you want. So I think for anyone thinking that he's going to be this, Patrick Mahomes, that's not ever going to be the case, but he can be a good quarterback and he can lead this team to victory. And it's these games where you see these mistakes, you see them, you call them out, you correct them, and you improve. And this is his time to do it. He's got the next couple of games. Maybe the Browns get into that playoff push. If they do, we'll see how he plays in that. And you move on from there. But it's a week by week basis, and it's a situation by situation basis.
Look, in 2019, Baker Mayfield threw 22 touchdowns and 21 picks, 78 quarterback rating. This year, through 11 games, he has 17 touchdowns and 7 interceptions with a 92 rating. I know he has almost a quarter of the season left. And Jeremy, we hijacked your Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt praising of the 5 hot minutes. I mean, I'm not trying to downplay like how incredible they are. But you kind of look at some of the narratives and Baker's play has people are jumping on it. They're jumping on his inaccuracy. It doesn't bother me. I don't even know if I'm not concerned with his. I think if he's shown enough of a body of work that I think those are just kind of anomalies to how he's played. And it so happens those misses come in the red zone when we need them. But
Yeah.
Most of the time, I mean, some of the throws today were just huge
Beautiful.
third down. Like, hey, we need this to put the game away. And he was there. And every time we needed a play that he made, Baker made. Every time we needed to play from Chubb, he got it. Hunt, hey, we need you to get us out of the end zone here. And hey, there goes Hunt. Hunt's a little pinball, man. When he gets in the kind of in the trenches, he has incredible balance. He's hard to take down. And so just every time we needed to play, our offense stepped up. And it was just, I was honestly never worried about this game, Jeremy.
I kind of agree with that. I know it sounds crazy because it ended up being a 2-point game, but I never felt like we weren't going to win that game. Even after the Harrison Bryant fumble on the first play of the second half and they scored to take the lead, I always felt like we were going to win this game. I felt like what was going to happen happened. The offensive line took control. They couldn't stop us running the ball in the third quarter. Now there's a couple little nitpicky things here or there. Like I probably would have brought in Chubb for that 4th and inches. I probably would have, I thought it was a bad spot. The refs I thought were atrocious. I thought the call on Olivier Vernon was completely incidental. I don't see any reason to call that and essentially change the outcome of the game at that time. But you're right. I never felt like the Browns were going to lose this game, and I don't think we could say that against anybody in the last few years.
Cameron, did you ever feel like the Browns were going to lose that game?
I'm getting more confident. I'm getting more confident in them, as the weeks go on. But I mean, there was a brief moment, just a very brief moment where
it felt like, okay, something funky is going to happen. Like this is getting weird.
And it wasn't on the Browns this time. It really wasn't. Like Jeremy said, the officiating needs to be called out. The players can't do it. The coaches can't do it. No one can do it. That was horrific. And the NFL needs to figure it out. There needs to be a better system for what happens with terrible calls, because they cannot continue to do that and just go to a pool reporter and say, oh, yeah, we messed up. Or, oh, yeah, we're confident. There's got to be some kind of accountability. There is no accountability for these kinds of calls. It was bogus. It is what it is. It was bogus.
But here's where I think the Browns gained experience in this game. When you get to the playoffs and you have a couple bad calls and you're going to have to overcome adversity like that, I would say this is probably one of the worst officiated games the Browns have had this year. And the fact that they were able to overcome that, that's something that happens in the playoffs. It happens all the time, every year. And that they were able to, persevere through that. I know the refs are doing a bad job. When my dad texts me, all I get is they got hosed. That's all he said was that they got hosed. That was the non-first down call twice. And then 10 minutes later, another bad call. And that was about the incidental, which Glennon Glover has said anyway. But it did feel a little like it was getting a little weird, Cameron, but I was never worried. Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
I'm sorry. I just got to say, both holding calls on JC Treader were atrocious.
Yes.
Atrocious. And the league said, they're not going to call these. They're trying not to call these tickets. They were both awful calls.
Well, I don't get it. I didn't see tripping. He kicked his leg out. That's
okay.
Flag for
but
tripping.
I didn't see either hold. I didn't see anything. The first one down by the goal line on the Kareem Hunt, the really nice run by Kareem Hunt, there was nothing there. There was no hold. There was multiple bad spots today, and that's one thing they got to find a way to fix, right? With modern technology, you think they could find a way to fix these issues with the spots, but it just feels like NFL refs, I know the game's going a million miles per hour, are just horrible at spots. I mean, that spot was 3 yards off on the challenge.
Both, yeah.
So he never touched. It just bothers me.
Some good news on the spots, though. They are working out. They said this last season. It's obviously not here this season, but hopefully soon they're working out the technology in the ball, a chip in the ball.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's only 2021.
I mean, right.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's coming soon, but that should help. But yeah, that spot was, I mean, even in the view on TV and in the broadcast, you could see that, like, what do you mean that's not a first down? So yeah, all day long but like you said, Chase, I think this was a really big moment for the Browns in that sense. I mean, how many times does Cleveland get hosed in officiating, and it just doesn't work out for them ever? And they've overcome that. And like you said, yeah, now they've prepared themselves for what happens if these things happen in the playoffs, and they've shown that they can win in spite of bad calls, and that's really big for them.
Yep. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about Browns silver linings.
Want to take a quick break to tell you about Shart.com. We have once again partnered with our good friends over at Shart.com to offer you the very best prices on the very best t-shirt frames on the market. It's so good, some call it art for your shirts. You know, shirt art. Shart.com offers the perfect Christmas gift, especially for the Cleveland sports fan in your family, where a fan base seems to have a shirt for every occasion, and maybe you have a tote full of Cleveland sports tees under your bed like I do that you never wear. Well, now you can display them with pride without ruining or cutting your shirt. It's super simple. I have 5 of these frames, and I can't wait to order more for my brother-in-law this Christmas season. They're amazing. Shart's foam insert and high-quality frames prevent you from having to cut your shirt and will keep your memories safe and beautiful for years to come. Shart acts as a great decoration for your home, retail store, office, bar, restaurant, school, gyms, shops, man caves, and even studios, as my Oranges Oranger t-shirt looks fantastic here in my podcast studio. This is a high-end retail frame made by the leading supplier of frames to retailers throughout the U.S. and Canada, coupled with their patent-pending Shart foam insert. It comes fully assembled with turn buttons, real glass sealed in place for safe shirt framing, and 2 sawtooth hangers nailed into the back of the frame so you can mount your piece of Shart either horizontally or vertically. This holiday season, purchase the easiest to use, best designed, and ready to hang t-shirt frame for your home or loved one today. And just for our Oranges Oranger listeners, you can use promo code GOBROWNS to save 20% off your entire order. Limit 1 per customer. Offer is good through Christmas. Again, that's promo code GOBROWNS at checkout to save 20% at Shart.com. Go to Shart.com today to begin your order.
All right, we're back. Let's look at the game recap. Browns 27, Jags 25. The Browns improved to 8-3, sitting pretty at the top of the wild card spot. We're going to talk about that here a little bit at the turn. Jags fall to 1-10, and I got to tell you, Leslie, my wife, and I, we went on at the beginning of the season the Jags to be under their 4.5 season win total. Which we're pretty excited about that. So we're looking good on that one. We lost out on the Jags to go winless bet week 1, which we were really like, oh, come on, what the heck? But we're feeling good about their under 4.5 wins. Browns go to Jacksonville, get the victory. Baker, I just want to read a couple things about my man Baker here. 19 for 29, 258 yards, 2 TDs, no picks, a 116.7 QBR. It's the 5th time this season over 100. And do you guys want to guess the Browns record when Baker throws and has a QBR of over 100? Any takers? Yep. 5-0.
Sweet say.
5-0. All right. 123 consecutive passes without a pick, a 4-game streak, the longest of his career. Baker has surpassed Tim Couch for the 5th most games with 2+ touchdowns by a Browns quarterback since 1950. Baker has 20 all-time wins, 9th all-time on the Browns all QB win. We've been watching that all season long. 2 behind Tim Couch. He has 22 wins. Baker Mayfield this season will soon officially become the best quarterback of the new Browns era, wins-wise. That's pretty cool. Took Baker 40 games to get to 20 wins, even 500 record. Just when you look at it that way, I mean, I think had an incredible game. Chubb, 19 for 144, 7.6. That's just ridiculous. 7.6 average, 1 touchdown, completely gashing the Jaguars defense. Chubb has averaged 5.5 plus yards per carry in each of the last 7 games this season. He's only played 7 games. No, he's played more than 7 games. No, he's only played 7 games.
He's played 7 games, and he's averaging 6.3 yards a carry now for the year.
Longest such streak among running backs since 1970. Chubb has 100 plus rushing yards for the 16th time in his career. Only Hall of Famer Jim Brown, 19, has had more such games in Cleveland among their first 3 seasons of the team. Kareem Hunt, 10 carries, 62 yards, 6.2 average. Again, every yard hard earned. I mean, I feel like gets walloped in there, does an incredible job staying up and fighting and not going down that first hit. Landry had himself a day. Jarvis went off. 8 receptions, 143 yards, 1 touchdown. He has tied Sterling Sharp for the 4th most games with 5+ receptions in a player's first 7 seasons. Again, since 1950, Sterling Sharp has 70. Just a lot of achievements going down that list. Cameron, what are some silver linings from this Week 12 victory over the Jaguars?
Yeah, I think my favorite is the fact that despite the recovery from the hip surgery, and despite playing with a broken rib, Jarvis Landry was able to have his breakout game, finally find the end zone. It's what he's been waiting for. He's been patient. He's been doing what he needs to do, and he was able to get that big game. And he got to do it the day after his birthday. That's always a good time for him. So silver lining is that Jarvis Landry is getting the looks that he deserves, and he's having the production that we know him to have.
Love it, Landry. I've shared my love for Landry in the past, how instrumental I think he has been in changing the culture in Cleveland, going back to the passionate speech he gave in the receiver room at Hard Knocks, just kind of taking all the other receivers by surprise at how competitive he is and passionate he is and how serious he takes his craft. I absolutely love Jarvis Landry. He gets whenever he scored a touchdown and he spiked the ball, Leslie says, is he going to get a flag for that? Because he's been flagged 3 or 4 times this year just for spiking the ball. And randomly, I said, no, he can do that when he scores a touchdown, just not when he's at the 27-yard line on the ref's face. So I couldn't be happier for Landry. Birthday boy had a birthday this weekend. He's 28 years old, and I'm not like it. I feel like he's way older than that.
Yeah, he's like 28 going to 40, isn't he? Like his whole persona just feels like he's like an old soul, I think.
And to think that I'm older than him, and just like not by a couple years, but by a handful of years, Jamie, I don't even know how you feel about that. But like it's hard to imagine. So anyway, happy birthday, Jarvis Landry. Had yourself a day. Good on you, sir. Cameron, love me some Landry. Jeremy, silver lining, sir.
Before I get to mine, let me say this too, to emphasize your point. It's pretty cool that the kind of team leaders of this team are Jarvis Landry, who's the vocal leader, and then there's Nick Chubb, who just leads by example and keeps his mouth closed. It's a nice, mix of guys there, and you throw in Myles Garrett as well. The culture changers, let's just say, on this team. I love the fact that we have these guys that have different styles, but are kind of leading the Browns into a new era. And let me say I want to stay in the receiver room and go to my guy Kadero Hodge. A lot of people are like, who is this guy? They were mad last year when he was getting reps over Higgins. This guy is a player. He makes a big catch every week. Today he had 2 of them. On a 3rd and long, made a great catch. On the 4th and 1, the route, I don't know if you saw it, Chase, the route he ran over there was beautiful. And then he gets his knee down inbounds on 4th down, makes a great catch on the sideline. I love me some Kadero Hodge. The guy plays great on special teams. He's turned into an excellent receiver. So silver line for me is Kadero Hodge developing into a very good NFL receiver.
One of the things you saw on Twitter this week was, will the Browns go after Kenny Stills, right? The Texans dropped him. I don't really think we need to go get Kenny Stills.
I don't either.
I really feel comfortable with the receivers we have. I think they have great chemistry. I think they block well downfield. Yep. I don't want to bring them in.
All in.
I really like the receiver room right now.
I agree. And that's another place where Jarvis Landry leads by example, and Kevin Stefanski touched on this a little bit today, is he always is blocking downfield, always.
Yep.
Every play he's given everything he's got. And when your guy who's the leader of that room does that, it requires everyone else to do that as well. Yep. It's just it's a beautiful thing. Everybody's
OBJ,
bought into the running game.
I thought did a great job blocking as well.
Yeah.
And it's kind of exciting when you every play these running backs are going to get 8 yards downfield, and if I don't get my block, then that's going to stop
exactly.
Them. That's literally on them. They control some of that secondary blocking. They've done a great job this year.
That's the mentality. When you have 2 backs that could break one at any time, that leads you to say, hey, I don't want to be the reason he doesn't score a 60-yard touchdown. So it's a really beautiful thing when you see that all working together.
Here's my silver lining for the game, and we've talked about it before. But this I thought was another kind of way that they persevered and overcome and won the game. The fact that a couple bad series, whether it's a fumble or just a quick 3 and out, the fact that a couple bad play calls, one of these games, Stefanski's questionable calling is going to come back and bite them. And I don't want to say I told you so, but it's going to happen. He's gotten really lucky. But the fact that a couple bad series, a couple bad play calls, bad refs, doesn't define this team, that they overcome those issues. And that's a sign of a good team. That's a sign of a team that is going to make some noise in the playoffs. It's a sign of a team that can keep their cool, that can keep their composure. Sign of a mature team, a team that has really accomplished more than we really have, right? It's also a sign of competent coaching of, hey, guys, let's chill out. I think last year, we couldn't have said that last year with this team. I felt like last year one pick in the first half and you're like, oh God, there's the game. Like we're not coming back from that. And things has kind of unraveled. That's not the case this year. And that is it's such a weird feeling. I don't know if Cameron and Jeremy, you guys feel that too. Like I've never seen a Browns team not be defined by, oh, a bad ref. Oh, and then they're on tilt the rest of the game, or a couple bad series and the game gets away and then they don't come back. I've never seen a Browns team like this ever. And it's just, I think today was just another one of those, okay, what happens when fourth quarter, there's 5 or 6 minutes where the refs are just like, what the heck? Like, are you even are you even being neutral? And they weathered that storm and they won the game. And that was this, Cameron, you're like nodding, hardcore.
Yeah.
Like this is speaking to you.
It's just so crazy. It is. It's just unknown to me to see a Browns team so resilient and so capable of adapting on the fly, adjusting where they need to adjust, learning from their mistakes, learning from what they're doing. And this is not normal for what I know of the Browns. So it's really, really great to see it. I mean, if you're a Browns fan and you're watching these games, some of the the plays and the decisions, and it might seem dicey and you might be a little worried about it. But honestly, if you just look back and watch these games this season, just enjoy it. They've locked in with this win. They can't have a losing season.
Yeah.
The Browns won't have a losing season. Can you like just take that in? No matter what happens, no matter what you see, the first thing in your mind the first and foremost thing you should think about is the Browns right now are 8-3, and the Browns have looked good this season despite some things here and there. The Browns are playing the best football they've played in years. So just I want everyone to appreciate the fact that that's what's happening right now. This is real life.
It's incredible. Jeremy, like, dude, we've never seen a team like this, man.
No, it's been since, the closest thing, 07, the offense was pretty darn good too with Jamal Lewis and those guys. But, this team, it feels different. It feels like this is for real. Yes, we got some issues on defense right now. Some of those will be solved when players get back. But, yeah, it feels like it's a culture. The culture is changing in front of our eyes. And this is step one of changing the culture is, translating the talent that we have to wins on the field. And this is just step one. And hopefully for the next 5 or 6 years, we're just sitting here talking about, yep, this was the moment when the culture changed and now the Browns are a winning, stable organization.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. Let's give out some game balls, Jeremy. Who you got, man?
So I wanted to give mine to Coach Callie. First female position coach ever to coach in a game. Maybe coming from me, some people might be surprised by that because I hate the like formality of saying, oh, let's just have the first woman coach. But all accounts are she has earned it. She has came up the ranks through the college game, to the pros, and the people love her. They say she's the hardest working person in the building. So my game ball goes to the history-making tight ends coach for the Cleveland Browns today.
Man, that's the one I had, dude. I had this whole paragraph written out.
See, people would expect that from you. They wouldn't expect it from me. So I had to jump in there, and it was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome thing today.
Yes. Well, that's incredible. Cameron, who you got?
Listen, I also was gonna go Callie.
Yeah.
What a moment that was.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I waited my whole life. When I was a kid, I played football. I played Pee Wee football, and I was the only girl on the team, and they told me I couldn't play, and they fought me all the way. And it's just like I figured, that's it for me. Girls don't belong in football. That's what everyone said. And to see the fact that she has done so much and worked so hard. It's so inspiring. It's just something that I waited my whole childhood to have that kind of role model and that icon. And now little girls growing up now, they have that. And it's just really, you love to see it. So you already gave it to Callie. So, and you said that people weren't going to expect that came from you. So I'm going to give one away that people probably won't think is coming from me. My game ball this week is going to none other than Andrew Sendejo. I know. But here's how I feel. Credit where credit is due. Yes, he has been rough for this entire season, but today was a really big day for him. He had himself a game. He had that pass breakup in the end zone, prevented a touchdown for the Jags. That was huge, right? And then when they scored and went for the 2-point conversion, he stopped that. That was on him. So those two big moments, that's what you want. I mean, he's never going to be perfect. I'm more critical than most on him. But the thing is, when he's in a position right now where he's not supposed to be there, why the Browns are continuing to play him as a starting safety, it's very strange to me, but he's out there and you got to deal with it. So the fact that he can make plays, I feel like you got to give him some credit when it happens. So maybe that inspires some more production from him. Game ball, reluctantly, but also excitedly goes to Andrew Sendejo. Good job doing something today.
Well,
let me. Can I jump in on that, Chase? Just for a second?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I had a conversation, Cameron, about this week with someone. Okay, there has to be something that we don't know. Like, just because we see somebody looking like they're getting burnt in a game, it doesn't always mean they actually got burnt. We don't know the coverages. We don't know. There's got to be something that the coaches see that we don't know about, and everybody gives that guy such a hard time. And it was nice. I'll be honest. It was nice to see him make a play today. The guy feels like he's played every snap on defense this year, right? The guy's out there banging. He's a fairly decent tackler near the line. So I'm gonna. I like that, Cameron. I think it's a good pick. Props to you. But there's just got to be something that we don't see as fans that the coaches do see.
His mistakes are so visible. A lot of, whether it's a player on the D line, you kind of get away with missing an assignment.
Exactly.
His mistakes are so visible because he's just all alone out there. He's playing more probably than he expected to, with Delpit out and just Ronnie Harrison, unfortunately, can't stay
constantly
healthy.
Getting hurt. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so he tries really hard. You got to give it to him. He is flying around. And I feel like for every couple blown assignments, he does make a couple open field tackles every game. You're like, oh, whoa, that's also kind of new for the Browns, like an open field tackle. So he does get a lot of flack. He's an easy scapegoat. Some of it's deserved, but I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Because I'm just behind a computer. I'm not playing safety in NFL. So Andrew Sendejo, good job by you. So look, I was also going to give it to Coach Callie. On a weekend marked by women football athletic achievement, we had Sarah Fuller with the Vandy kicking, which is just incredible. Breaking glass ceilings all over the place this season. I think back to the Washington game where my daughter was just watching in awe, where you had two coaches and a ref gather on the field, and it was incredibly special. And so this weekend, Coach Callie, if you don't know, she's our current Cleveland Browns chief of staff. Our tight ends coach, Drew Petzing, his wife went into labor Saturday night. Obviously, he's, as he should, good job by you, sir, going to the hospital to be with his family. And they elevated Coach Callie to tight ends coach. And the first female position coach in NFL history. And so it's very inspirational, just well-deserved, well-earned interim. But the fact is she does put the time in. She knows what she's doing. And, as much as it's highlighted, it doesn't feel like ceremonial or empty. It feels like, nope, this is what we're going to do because she's earned it. And we're not going to make a huge deal out of it. It's just, it is what it is. And let's just move forward. Does that Cameron?
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just going to, that's exactly what it is. She's the interim, so they could have had anyone step up and fill that role. They could have had any of their other coaches or trainers step up and do something and take that role for Petzing while he was out, but they gave it to Callie, and they gave it to Callie because she works her butt off every week. She does everything that is asked of her. She has great relationship with the players. She's literally what the Browns embody, like their whole mentality for players. That's her as a coach. So yeah, I mean, that's exactly why it wasn't just because, let's do this for show. It was because she deserved that position. She deserved to be the one that got called up to fill that role.
Yeah,
exactly. It doesn't. I hate like history for the sake of history, right? It just didn't feel forced at all. And if you listen to some of the interactions with her and Baker and guys on the sideline and the stuff you read about her and the stuff you hear about her, all accounts are that she earned every bit of this. And so good for her. That's awesome. I'm excited about it. I think it's a really cool thing.
when the Browns make the playoffs, I fully expect a 10-minute pregame like feature by CBS or Fox on her. Like, it's going to happen at some point.
Oh yeah,
which
there's
would
no
be
doubt
well
about that.
deserved then. But it's just, I'm just proud to be a Browns fan. Gosh dang it. It is just so cool. And my daughter, who's 5.5, she's watching, and she, Cameron, she doesn't know a world where that's foreign to her. And I just think
Yep.
that's pretty cool. So, Coach Callie, without getting 3 game balls, I want to give one to my man Baker Mayfield, who is getting a lot of flack, but stepped up through some incredible throws, and is doing everything he can to lead the team to victory. 8-3, had some 2 touchdowns, and I just Baker Mayfield, you get my game ball for this week. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with our blueprint for the playoffs and kind of see how the weekend went. Be right back.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. We read one book a month, and then we talk about it. Books like Stephen King's The Shining or Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. If you're on the hunt for book recommendations and enjoy sparkling conversation, come read along with us and then listen in.
I'm Dennis Maniloff, co-host along with the Roadman Kenny Rhoda of the Next Man Up podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network. Roadman and I do a deep dive into Browns, Indians, Cavs, Ohio State, and anything else that's on the sports fan's mind.
Hey, it's JD from the Hyman Podcast. Using a narrative storytelling approach, the Hyman Podcast was created to start conversations that need to be human. Week by week, I'll break down walls and barriers and make people wildly uncomfortable, all the while giving a voice to the voiceless and the marginalized. Consider this your personal invitation to be part of that conversation.
Hey everybody, it's Sam Amico from Cavs on the Break NBA podcast. Be sure to give us a listen for all your Cleveland Cavaliers recaps, analysis, breakdowns, draft talk, free agency. The list goes on and on. Give us a listen, Cavs on the Break NBA podcast.
All right, guys, here we go. Last segment. Blueprint for the playoffs. The Browns are sitting pretty, 8-3. The third best record in the AFC. Is that a lie?
No.
Third best record.
No lies detected.
8-3. Here's what happened with the other wild card players. The Colts and Titans played off. The Titans embarrassed them. They shellacked them. The Colts are 7-4. The Titans are now 7-4. The Raiders were embarrassed by the Falcons, 43-6. They're now
Crazy.
6-5. They might be done. Are they done?
I think I did not see that coming today. I'll tell you that. Yeah, and then Josh Jacobs went down as well today on top of everything else.
Well,
so they
their
got
backup
shellacked
was,
and
he's
Booker.
no bum. He
Devin Booker. He's a good player, but
could have
I
ran.
mean, he's not Josh Jacobs. Yeah, that was a mess today. I didn't get to watch it. I was just following it a little bit, and wow, that was something. Good for the Browns, obviously. Good for the Browns.
Great for the Browns. They can't lose another game. They might be done. The Dolphins did defeat the Jets, moved to 7-4. Cameron Tua how long is he out?
He's got an injury to his thumb, and they're just playing it week by week, seeing how he adjusts and how he's able to hold that ball. But yeah, right now he's out for the foreseeable future.
The Dolphins are 7-4. That not looking good for my Dolphins to win the AFC East bet, but that's okay.
And they got KC coming up in 2 weeks. They got a tough schedule going forward as well. So
yeah, they got to play the Bills again. The Bills are 7-4. No, they're 8-3. Sorry, the Bills are 8-3.
Yep.
They lead that division. The Ravens and Steelers play Tuesday. A game got moved again. The Browns hold the number 1 wild card spot after week 12. It's just what, Jeremy, we recorded a podcast when they went 0-16, bro.
We recorded a lot
all
of
season
podcasts
long. We did like 20 episodes.
Remember, we're like, we did. We were like, this can't be real. This cannot be real. Oh man, and here we are, 8-3. Look how far we've come, Chase.
I know, man. I know. Cameron, you started at 55%. Last week you went up to 76.5%. Where do you stand on the Browns making the playoffs right now?
Come
on.
I gotta go with my
Come on.
I'm gonna go with what my head is telling me, not my heart, because we know what the heart says right now. You should know what my heart is saying right now. My head is saying I'm gonna go up to 88%.
Ooh, okay. I like it. 88%. Still, that feel to me that says I'm kind of ready to commit. But like, I just want to there's a couple other things I want to just work through. Like you've moved in together.
Yes, and it's a nice blend because I know what the actual number is, and it's lower than that. But the number in my heart is much higher than that. It's more along the lines of your number, Chase.
Hey, let's go. So
it's a nice little balance. It's a happy balance.
What is the actual number? I actually didn't see that today.
I think I saw today that it was up to almost 80.
Almost 80. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know the actual number, but it was near 80.
Jeremy, you started 3 weeks ago at 60%. You went to 74.9%, which is a weird ass number. Where are you at now, man? Let's where are you at? The Browns making the playoffs
I'll be straight. I think I'm going to say 80%. If they win next week, I think it's 99.9%. But I'm going to say right now 80%. Danny Dimes went down today. The Giants are going to have something to play for when we go into New York. We'll see what happens with this whole Ravens situation. It's obviously a mess. Some of it's their own doing. So that game's going to be an interesting game in just a couple weeks here. But at this moment, right now, I am at 80%.
So Jeremy's a little more afraid of commitment there, it seems like, man. Like why 80? Why not go 95, Jay? Like
we got a couple tough games in a row. We got a couple tough games in a row. I want to kind of see how they play out these next 2 weeks, and then we'll see where we're at.
We'll say I just looked the New York Times on their playoff calculator, and their playoff prediction for the Browns is at 82%.
82%.
Yeah. So that's pretty high.
I'm terrified for this coming Sunday. I am absolutely terrified. Oh my gosh. We'll talk about that in a couple days, but Jesus, that's just okay. So I think we're 100% going to make the playoffs without a doubt. The Browns will be playing playoff football. They start in December. I got to look and find out when the playoffs start, because that's got to change some holiday plans and some things for December. I've never had to do that. It's always been, we'll figure that out. I got to look into that and make my schedule around when those games are, because I'm not missing those games.
You've got until January. You've got until the beginning of January.
My dad always says Christmas is more fun when the Browns are good.
Yep. Well, it'd be nice to have a good Christmas this year.
Words to live by.
Yep. Yeah, well, this was a ton of fun. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, our good friends at Shart.com, the high quality t-shirt frames. Hey, now is the time to get your t-shirt frames right in time for the Christmas season. Don't forget, use your promo code and 20% off the entire order just in time for Christmas. We all love our Shart t-shirt frames. And we know that Browns fans love t-shirts. So I have my Oranges Orange or Browns t-shirt right behind me, and it looks fantastic. And make sure you get your loved ones a shirt for any occasion. You have Shart.com. Also, just thank you to you for downloading and listening and staying with us here through the 40-minute mark or whatever we are at this podcast. We love talking about the Browns. We love that you listen. Thank you so much for checking us out. Hey, all we really want for Christmas is over 5,000 followers on Twitter. We got 4.3 or whatever. That will allow us to follow more people. We can always follow back at that point, but that's all really we want for Christmas. So do us a solid, help us out, give us a retweet or give us a follow, tell your friends about us. And if they love the Browns and want to digest more Browns information, then I feel like we do a great job of providing some content for you during the week. Cameron, what you got for us, girl?
Listen, Browns are 8-3. We have another victory Monday. Enjoy it. Enjoy this podcast. It was a fun recording. It's always fun recording. And follow us on Twitter. There's no reason not to.
Love it. Thank you. Jeremy, any final thoughts, brother?
Amen. This was a fun show to do. It's been a fun year to follow. We've been through the depths, and now we're heading towards the skies. So excited for the future of the show, excited for doing this with you guys, and excited for the Browns. Go Browns, baby.
Let's go. Woo, woo.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
Woo, woo.
Let's get it.